And as usual, because these are all ordinances, we are required to have a public hearing. And as a reminder, I'd like to have anyone who has signed up or desires to comment on these ordinances, then make your comments relevant to the ordinances, because that's the only thing that we're taking testimony on, these 4 ordinances. And we'd appreciate you limiting your comments to the ordinance that are properly before us for consideration. With that, I have 3 people who have signed up to speak on one or more of these 4 ordinances, and they are Alex Zimmerman, Sam Bellamio, and Mia Jacobson. Mr. Zimmerman, you are first, and as usual, you will have 2 minutes.
Hi. Mr. Chair, I think you have very bad job what is you do it for last 2 years. You appoint one time and appoint another time. Twice in a row. It's never happened for my understanding in your King Country history. For the last couple of years, you appoint 3 times. Why you have more privileges another 8 district? Why people from your district have more privileges than other people from another 8 district? As opinion about you for last 2 years, very bad. Do a job what is you doing is absolutely absurd. You're supposed to be resigned. Example, very good. It's a 5 point for 2 minutes, so each point can be public opinion for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds. When you see this, no one civilized, normal people doing this. Under your supervision, this happened. Why are you doing this? Because you cannot qualify for this position. You cannot qualify for this position. You cannot qualify for this position like a chair, and you cannot qualify like position like a vice chair, because we cannot talk about housing, human service, and judicial system in your committee too. So what is you doing here when you cannot qualify for very simple point? Point very simple. 10 seconds, 2 minutes, for what? We've been talking about this for a long time, and you have $135,000 and have 4 assistants, so you totally is $300,000 more than U.S. senator you spend for 250,000 people, 3 times almost less than Seattle. Your salary like senator salary. So how is this comparable to what is you doing and what is we pay to you? People pay to you. It's taxpayer money. We chose you for 20 years. So you're very low-class professional. So for 20 years you don't understand it's not good. Speak for each item for 10 seconds or 20 seconds. It's very hard to understand this. So my 2 minutes gone?
Yeah, you're 2 minutes.
You're okay, thank you very much. So what is you don't give like civilized people? Maybe 3 minutes like all city doing right now. Maybe 5 minutes when this item very complicated right now. Thank you very much. Yeah. Go home.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. We appreciate it. You took 2 minutes and you didn't talk about any of the 4 items. Now I'll call on Sam.
Oh, he addressed all 4 items, and all 5 of the consent items are together. So each one only gets 20 seconds, and that's more of the problem. So it's like I can't in 20 seconds in depth describe these in depth and then analyze them and describe you my opinion. I'll just take them all at once and say I disagree with all 5 of them. Simply because we cannot have the chance in each committee to address you openly in the decision-making process to even bring this forth into the committee. I'm talking to you right now before you vote on this. Does that make any sense? When you decided, hey, we'll just do this anyways. Oh, and by the way, before we vote, we'll let the community come and talk. Makes absolutely no sense. Where else do you see this happening? Before you make a vote, then we can speak. We can't bring an idea forth. We can't stop an idea that it's happening. We can't interject something that might change the course in your decision. Only at the point which you make the vote, when we've already wasted a month or 2 months. What if this was so critical it needed to be addressed last week? You would just wouldn't let us speak on it until you brought it up for a vote and it had to be addressed and there was 5 crappy things in it and I can't tell you don't do it because it needs to be done. But if I could have told you at the committee level, you could have changed those things and you could have addressed them directly. So all 5 of these should not be passed because you're not doing your job right. Some simple job you don't understand. You're supposed to be elected to represent us. Instead, it's turned into a profession. Go through the motions. Yes, I call on you. Your turn to speak. I call on you. Your turn to speak. When are you going to open up the dialogue and not go through the formalities and allow us to openly address you? You give me the chance right now because you're so kind to me. But you have a little button up there you can just shut me off. How's that freedom of speech? How is that dialogue? I'm being harassed with sheriffs. You know I'm going to stop after my 2 minutes, but yet you harass us with sheriffs? How does that make any sense?
You did this
You terrorize the community. So I appreciate you if you started doing your jobs better and started working on behalf of the community again. Thanks.
Thank you, Sam. Mia?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm going to try and talk about all 5 of these things. It would be nice if we had a clock, by the way, to know how much.
We have a clock right there.
Well, like a timer clock, like most other
We do have one. That's the bell that you hear.
Facing. It'd be nice if it was facing us. So, let's see. So the ones that have to do with authorizing the executive to have more abilities than he did prior, things that you guys used to do, it seems that there's a general shift of taking issues outside of the public arena and putting it into one man's decision, one man's choice. This is a conversation that Mr. Phillips brought up maybe 3 weeks ago that needs to be discussed, like just acknowledged. It would be nice if the public could be in on that conversation because we're interested in that too, the workings of our government and how they allocate authorizations and things like that. As it stands now, there is no opportunity. Almost every committee has no public comment, which is what the issue I have with all the other ordinances. It's just a general lack of public communication, the general lack of allowing other opinions to get on the table, different perspectives, to really try and accurately address what's going on in our community, what we feel the issues are, what things that you guys just may not see. And again, like we come and ask you for a meeting every month to try and address these inconsistencies or lack of public participation for a meeting that's not at 1:30 in the afternoon. Most other counties don't have that meeting in the middle of the day. They have it for at least an hour and 2 hours, and I mean, only 15 minutes doesn't really do anything. So that's the issue I have with all of these ordinances, and it's an issue I continue to have, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of real response on your guys' behalf, which is really unfortunate and disheartening, but I mean, it's a really important issue, and I really think it could solve something if we could talk about it, you know, have a debate on the different pros and cons or something, like a constructive conversation between the relationship between the government and the people at our community level. I think it would really benefit our future and our workings of our government. So if you guys ever feel like that would be a good idea or want to come outside of your office, we've been asking you to do it for a long time.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sam Bellamio, you signed up to speak to this ordinance. Did you wish to do so?
I believe all 3 of us did.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I usually, we call one. Why are you so upset about me calling one person at a time? I already called the mayor. I called her one person at a time.
It's okay. I'll sign up before I did. It's all we're questioning. So, I'll sign up.
All right.
StandUP-America.
Yeah. Okay. You represent StandUP-America?
You want to?
All right. Go ahead.
5 minutes?
No. 2 minutes each.
So Alex will speak first, and then I'll speak.
All right.
No, go speak first, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he give you a privilege.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you for giving me that privilege to come up and speak. I disagree with the ordinance simply on the basis that the Finance Committee and the Budget Committee hasn't had an open public dialogue to bring forth any other budget ideas, like bringing 3 sheriffs here for 3 people who speak only openly about, we have a First Amendment right to speak freely. Why am I being harassed against speaking to you openly? The budget right now with $135,000 each, a year. We have a problem with Dow Constantine, $200,000 a year. The expenses that we're paying, how can we afford to pay for any other transit if we keep spending on our aristocrats all the money we have extra? There's a bunch of other issues we have. There's a homeless issue we have right now. There's families out, 50% of Americans are considered low income right now. Absolutely poor, 50%. No one's concerned about that because next year you're going to get elected. You're going to get your pay at 3%, right? I think a 3% increase for each of you. And even if you don't get your 3% increase, sorry, this does relate to transit because we can't afford our transit if we keep paying you all the money that goes to transit. I think it's highly related, so thank you for waiting. So if we don't quit paying all the money to all of you, then we're going to have no money for transit, no money for light rail, no money for our roadways, no money to feed the homeless, no money to take the juvenile center you want to build. That's another issue, you know. You want to put a bunch of money towards building.
It's not on the agenda.
It's not on the agenda, but it's closely related to budget. We can't afford this transit. And excuse me, it's not public questioning. It's public hearing. Hear what I'm saying, please, without interrupting. So we're having a problem with you guys spending money on needless things, and so we can't afford the most basic services that us as a society need, except for incarcerating people. So as soon as we incarcerate everyone, where's the tax revenue come from? So make sure you watch out where that could happen. You know, we have the highest prison population in the United States. We're just wasting our money on our aristocrats and all our pet projects that we have that are good. Because I can't say this in the committee, by the way. I would be saying this to the Finance and Budget Committee, but I have to say it here because I don't have an opportunity there to speak. So if we keep spending all our money on all this useless stuff, how are we going to start taking care of our infrastructure? It's completely failed. Getting C's and D's on the federal analysis grading of a lot of bridges and roads. What are we going to do then? We can't keep affording this bloated government we have. We can afford another 2 council members if we just cut your salaries in half. We could afford more transit. I hope someone up there agrees and has a brain because these are issues that we need to face as a society and we need leaders to start standing up for us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alex Zimmerman, yes, and I represent StandUP-America. We are organization what is represent ordinary American. We are ordinary American. You are not ordinary American. You are top aristocrat. Salmon, it's very good. $10 per pound. Yeah, it's not bad for poor people who have Social Security, for example, $300 or $500. Yeah, you can afford. Yeah, it's interesting. Yes. How much you help salmon? How many salmon we have? 20 millions? I don't know how many salmon we have, but I'm absolutely sure 20 million children in the United States of America go every night hungry. No food for children. Yeah, salmon very important for aristocrat. For people like you who make $135,000 and pretend be a senator, don't interrupt me. It's my constitutional right. You're doing bad job and you're supposed to be right now quiet.
But
when you start doing a good job, you have your voice.
In the Kirkland City.
Okay, about Kirkland. I'm sorry, about Kirkland. She spoke for 3 minutes. People spoke for 2 minutes. I spoke in Kirkland before a few times. I'll waste 3 minutes. Kirkland more democratic city than King Country. More respect Constitution than you respect Constitution. Why Kirkland have this? Why Bellevue have this? Why everybody have 3 minutes? Why you have 2 minutes? Nobody knows this. She can approve, so Kirkland have 3 minutes and everybody can speak about everything what is you want. King Country and you, exactly, only one place right now, probably in state Washington. I don't know about United States of America. What is we cannot speak about everything what is we have. If we want to speak about problem, about big problem what is we have, is a point. We don't come spoke about this entertainment or circus or about another arena. What is we have for how much? $500 million or another prison what is we build? This prison, and we talk about this many times with you, this prison has cost a ton of money. You see, 2 minutes for public. It's enough. Who's care about people? Nobody care about people. Empire strike back, and you represent this empire. Thank you.
Mia Jacobson.
Hello. So these 2 ordinances were, again, generated by a committee that doesn't allow for open comment. This is the same theme that I talked about last time. It says in the agenda that it's the purposes of public hearing, discussion, and action. I'm just wondering when the discussion part gets in, and if we are actually a part of that. It seems like watching what happened last time, we had these concerns and they were never addressed, they were never clarified or anything, just sort of pushed to the side and you guys voted anyway. So it seems to be an example of your general regard for public comment or the opportunity for public participation, which I've been really discouraging, because on the national level, the lack of public interest, public knowledge, public participation has really contributed to where we are today. So if even on our local level, with people that, we might have gone to high school with, lived next to, that you guys seem to have the same regard for public participation, comment that you might not understand or agree with, you just don't seem to care. There are people getting up, having conversations, and I understand we might be saying the same thing over and over again, but it might be because it's important. And if you don't understand or agree, it would seem to me that a rational person would start asking questions to try and clarify their own understanding of what's going on. And to see none of, we've met with 2 representatives. I feel like my friends have met with you. You refuse to meet with us again. And they share our concerns for the future and the state of our nation and everything, but it seems to be that they don't think they can do anything about it. That doesn't seem to be something you guys have the ability to change, which I vehemently disagree with. I really think you guys have a lot more power than you think you do on an individual level. If you guys share the same concerns as us, it would be nice if you could publicly act like you do. Asking questions for things you don't understand, which I've seen you do before with other people. Responding to our concerns, especially since this is the only opportunity for public dialogue before passing an ordinance, instead of just pushing us to the side, because it's really disrespectful. And part of the reason why no one else really wants to come and talk to you guys, most people I know are really frustrated with the government, but they don't feel like you guys listen to us, which I've seen an example of again and again every time I come. So if you guys have any response to that, it would be nice to hear you guys have brains and personalities behind those faces that stand up there in silence, but I guess you don't.
Thank you, Mayor. On this issue, though, Mayor, you sat there and listened to the mayor said for years hundreds of people in the affected area have been given an opportunity and have taken advantage of it, giving many suggestions about how this major development in their community could go.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And she pointed out that the man that coordinated all of this started when he was 17. He looks like he's in his 30s now.
Cool.
So that's quite a bit of public involvement.
Yeah, that's great. That happened in Kirkland.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in Seattle. That's our issue.
That's the issue we're dealing with now. That's why it's appropriate.
Okay,
Thank you.
Things that aren't developed in Kirkland that do have that amazing opportunity for public participation do come to this county, and without any opportunity for public participation from the Seattle Council, which we also go and ask them for this meeting. So you're absolutely right. Kirkland did a fantastic job. We should follow in their example.
Thank you.
We did it at 17. It must have taken like 20 years now, right, to get something done.
You're out of order now, Sam. We don't allow speaking from the audience, only from the podiums. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on the Kirkland Oriented Transit Development Project?